Fame member, and I never knew this, that Ernie Banks hit the most home runs ever by a shortstop. You're in the record books, Ernie.
Oh, that was 1958 when I first joined the Cubs. Of course, I joined the club in 1953, and in 1958 I hit 47 homers, and I think at the time Vern Stevens, former of the Boston Red Sox, had the home run record for shortstop.
Now, you don't look massive. You look very trim. It's not always the strongest guy who hits the most homers, is it?
Not always. I would say basically the key is timing and hand-eye coordination and being able to wait long enough and on the ball. Don't commit yourself too soon. And of course, I was very fortunate to have played in a beautiful ballpark, Wrigley Field, and the wind blew out a lot up there, so it helped me a lot.
What is there about being a Cub fan? Now, I know some Chicagoans, and I was talking about the Cubbies, you know, and it's a peculiar brand of fan, isn't it?
It is a very special fan. Since I retired from baseball, which has been 12 years, I've met a lot of people who have followed the Cubs, and basically the Cubs have been their life. What I mean by that is I've met a lot of ladies who were pregnant and carrying their children, and they look forward to listening to the Cub games on radio and, of course, watching the games on television.
And they named the kids Ernie, you mean?
Well, a lot of them named their kids after the various Cub players. Hank Sowers, one of the great Cub players, Ralph Kiner, Frankie Baumholz, a lot of outstanding players. So the Cubs was more like an extension of a lot of people's lives and made them very happy, and they became identified with the team. And I'm very fortunate, along with all the other Cub players who have been on the ball club, because we have fans who believe in us and treat us like family, and we were a big part of their lives.
That's what I want to ask you about. Every once in a while, like in Pittsburgh or Tommy Lasorda's group, they talk about family. Now, some clubs, I suppose, are very close, and others are just a group of good ball players together. Is that not right?
That's true. And the reason for it is that once you start players throughout the minor league system and train with your club and your organization, they become friends, and they become family. They know each other on the field.
That's not necessarily true of all clubs, is it?
Not necessarily true, and I think it's something that the winning clubs do very well. Baltimore, Earl Weaver, Tom Lasorda at Los Angeles, and Billy Martin at New York, and of course we've had that situation at Wrigley Field for a lot of years, but Chuck Tanner at Pittsburgh.
Wait a minute. You mentioned Billy Martin. It seems to me that he may not be a unifying force. Doesn't he get on his players, and isn't there a lot of tension? Even though he's a good manager, isn't there a lot of tension when Billy Martin's around, Ernie?
That's true, but Billy works on the theory of tension makes players play better, and his record would prove that everywhere he has gone to manage, he's brought that club respectability. Oakland, Texas, Detroit, New York, and he somehow treats the players, and he gets on them, and he'll protect them when they get in a little squabble off the field. But basically, he has that family-type atmosphere that exists on all of his clubs.
Is he loyal to his team? I mean, say the owner says, I don't like that guy's hot dogging it out there, or he was loafing out there. Will Billy Martin say, defend his player and be loyal to him?
He will defend his players. I think it's something about fellows who have played professional baseball. Billy Martin did, naturally. They protect the players. If the owner or if the media or if outside fan say something about the players, they will get on those people. They will protect their players, and they would tell them that I'll get on them, but I don't want you getting on them because they're my players. And I would say major league players really respect that. They know that the manager will go to bat for them in any situation.
I'm talking Ernie Banks. What about hecklers? Does that get to some players?
Well, here's the way I dealt with it when I was with the Cubs. We didn't have any of that at Wrigley Field, but I would tell young players when they first joined the major league, that's the first thing they have to learn to deal with. Maybe some guy that comes along that is not pleased with his own personal life, and he comes to a baseball park and he might take it out on them or the team. That's his prerogative. That's what he pays for, and that's good for him. That's good therapy. So you just have to listen to one ear and let it go out the other, because you got to realize the fan paid to come to see you play, and they have a right to get on the players or express their opinions and their agony about their play.
Could you have been Jackie Robinson, Ernie, if it was necessary?
No, I was more or less a quiet type player, and I functioned better in quiet
But if
surroundings.
you had been, if it had been Ernie Banks instead of Jackie Robinson, could you have survived as he did?
It'd have been pretty difficult for me because I kind of like to hear nice things said about me, and I know Jackie was the type of player, and he encouraged me a lot to play Major League Baseball, and very helpful to me during my career, and he went through quite a bit, but I would say that in my career, I just more or less like quiet things. I like to get along with people, and I like for people to say nice things about me, and I like to say nice things about people.
I heard you say nice things about our good friend Pee Wee Reese today.
Yes, Pee Wee has been a good, long-standing friend of mine. Personally, I mean, he played shortstop. When I played shortstop for the Cubs, I used to watch him work out and play the game, and then after the game, I would sit down and ask him different techniques about playing shortstop. And being a visiting shortstop, he would help me a lot. He was a very helpful feller and an outstanding golfer.
And he's a good friend. We wish him well. I know he's mending from a knee break today, knee injury.
Yes, he had an unfortunate accident here about 2 days ago, and I know he'd love to have been here for the tournament. He's a great asset to the tournament, and all the fans look forward to seeing him. And as you know, he's a very personable guy, and he loves people.
Ernie, thank you very much. So nice of you to stop by.
Thank you very much.
From the ballroom of the Hyatt Regency, you've been listening to a program featuring some of the stars who have gathered here for the Foster Brooks Pro Celebrity Golf Tournament, not the least of whom was Bob Hope, who certainly brought in many thousands.